I welcome you to join me in a very beautiful discussion about science versus religion. I first want to integrate and receive all the information we need. I don't want to talk from only my mind or personal perspective. I want to bring an insightful perspective which maybe has serves a higher purpose to understand this topic better. And in general, you should know that I want to discuss this topic because it is a very well discussed topic and very interesting, actually very important. But the most important point is because it relates to what I'm doing. Because I'm working a lot with alternative treatments and healing methods, and we call it complementary medicine, and is all the scientific research and medicine enough to help humans live to the fullest extent? And I think we can all agree as humans, probably you one too if you're watching. Greetings to all the aliens who live streaming from another planet. Yeah, so if we are all human beings, or even probably, even if you would be from another planet and you would be another being, you would still have a certain part of emotional reality in your life. And for us humans, it plays a big role, emotional reality. Emotions in general, thoughts, immaterial things can influence us pretty much. Yes. And I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, spirituality and metaphysical things play a big role in my life and help me to understand life better, cope with life better, increased my manageability, my coherence feeling or sense of coherence with the world and what I'm doing, and in general, a feeling of meaningfulness, as all words, maybe you recognize them, all words from Dr. Antonovsky's health model, which is called salutogenesis. It concentrates how health comes into place, because mostly science, like let's bring it to basic, we are left-brained and right-brained, one is rational, one is emotional, cognitive and emotional, mental and emotional. And on the one side, the rational scientific way, we think mathematically in numbers, statistics. And on the other hand, you have the emotional part, which is focusing more on feeling, on sensing, on spiritual things even, creativeness, arts. So you have these brain hemispheres. The right one is for the emotional and creative part. The left brain is for you otherwise. The left brain is for the rational. So if you are right-handed, you use your left brain area because it switches here, the nervous system, spinal cords. So why do I need to make this clear? Because we have two different existing realities. One reality where people focus and more on the rational part, and the other reality is more the emotional, spiritual, non-physical part. And if we think in both of these categories, it's very important to understand when do people think in rational and when in emotional states. So I think one very important point I have to mention is that we are trained in the West to mainly use our left brain. We are very left-brained. You see that we have the highest educations and have the best universities in the West. Slowly, other countries are getting to the level the Western universities are, for sure. All other continents are catching up. South American, African, Asian universities, they're all catching up, definitely, since 30, 40 years. So the West is in generally producing a more rational view of the world. And the rest of the world is adapting. And I don't know if it is that healthy, because there are major problems with just rational views on reality. Definitely. You will miss out on a great part of human life. And you see that in the West. We have the highest rates of education, but I don't know any person in the West which is happy, who is happy, who is in an emotionally balanced state, who can say, yeah, I feel perfectly fine, you know, my thoughts and my emotions, I all get them together, and I'm doing well, I'm on my peak, you know. That's just 1% of the Western world. And that's why you see an amazing upsurge in religion, sports, spirituality, and personal development, because people need to learn soft skills, how to get along with anger, with emotions, with sadness. How do you cope with negative feelings? How do you get along with intrusive thoughts, with depression? So this, like, you already probably sense that this video is going to be this probably going to become a series, and that's why this video is going to be longer, a little bit longer than usual videos on YouTube. But I like longer content. I like to listen to people while I'm working on my chores and things like this. So maybe you enjoy this as a talk with your full attention. I would love that. If not, your shared attention is enough. But I want this to be homogenic. I want you to discuss with me. I really appreciate any comment. I really appreciate any thought you want to share with me. And yeah, maybe even do a video together and talk about topics like this, because it is so important to talk about the basic human concepts of reality. And I think the main concepts of human reality is viewing it all from an emotional perspective, you know, from a spiritual, metaphysical perspective, or you look at life from a rational, physical perspective, from a material perspective. And that's what we do. Like, most of the people, we just view life as a material perspective. You get bad news and you're like, oh, that's reality. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's just like bad news, if something horrible happens, or the best example would be I get a disease. And most people would say, yeah, I'm just sick. But that does not give you any sense of meaningfulness. You don't know why you get sick. You don't know why you have to get along with that. You know, you don't understand why you got sick in the first place. What were the reasons? What was your behavior? Could you change something? Could you prevent getting sick in the future? And all these things are mostly cut out of a worldview, which is basically only rational. You know, we have the perfect example in medicine, because our biomedical module of health is like treating a car engine. You know, something is broken, I repair it, and then it's good again. But most of the people, they still have pain after the treatment, they still get side effects, they still need to take drugs, and they don't know shit about why the disease came in the first place. So they're probably getting sick again. So a physical, only rational view of life is very ineffective. And we can discuss, yeah, is religion needed? Is spirituality needed? Do I need to be spiritual or religious? No, you don't need to be. Definitely. Let's take the elephant out of the room. You don't need to be. You can live a life only on the material existence. But you're going to miss out. That's the point. Let's have another metaphor, or actually a reality check. 99.9% of all atoms are empty. So all the shit you see, like the mirror there, my hair, the table where my phone is on, the couch I'm sitting on, you can grasp it for sure. You can take things and squeeze them and touch them and feel them. But if you have a deeper perspective, not a higher perspective, just let's say a deeper perspective, not a metaphysical one, still scientific, you will see that all these atoms who create these molecules, and these molecules which create these forms and senses to us, are actually mainly empty. They are not as material as we think. Not even close. Not even close. Not even close. They're not even close to physical objects. It's just what we sense. And the interesting thing is, like, when you say sense and I touch something, did you know that there are always air molecules and atoms between you and the things you touch? So even if I touch, there's air between me and that thing. And air is gasoline. And gases are also not quite sensible. Sometimes you can smell gas, the density changes, but it's not, you cannot grasp it. You cannot see gas. Sometimes you can smell it, but there are more physical things and less physical things. And we need to understand that this scheme of polarity needs to be bridged. We cannot just perceive one reality. It's just like you would say, I only use the negative sides of magnets. I don't care for the other side. Then the magnet would not work. The magnet would not stick. If you just use one polarity of a magnet, it would not work. It would just push the other one, because you're using the same side. So all things are polar and they work together. And this is where we come to the most important point of this talk, is that all things we perceive as a polarity actually work in harmony together, and that they are very, very, very compliant with each other. And that's why I want to talk about religion versus science, because they complement each other greatly. Like warmth and cold. We perceive it as two different things, and now it's so warm and now it's so cold. But they're all the same scala of heat. It's one scala of measuring temperature. It's one scala of temperature. You say here it's hot, you say here it's cold, but it's one scala. Actually, if you measure it, you don't see the polarities as much. If you would be there, we do measurements of 170, 150 degrees minus. It's just a number until you feel it. And when you feel it, it's fucking cold. You die directly. You don't feel shit. It's probably over. Very, very, very. So, in general, do we need to put spirituality and a material view of things against each other? No, we don't. They complement each other. I'm very spiritual, I'm very religious, but I still study science. Because I love science and I love religion. It's like saying, because you like noodles, you can't like rice. That's bullshit, bro. Just because they're two opposing main nutrients of different continents, no, bro, I don't care. It's like, oh, bread or noodles, or bread or rice. I don't care, man. Why do we care so much about how things are opposing each other instead of a new complementive perspective of reality, where we see where things relate to each other and how they work together in unity? This is how we should always view things. How can I unite things? How can I bring things in unity? And not differentiate. You as a Muslim, you believe this. I as a Christian, I believe that. And that's why we're opposing. Let's see where we have the same traces. We both love Moses. That's already a big point. We talk about this law and that, and how much we learned. And, so there's a basis. And then we can still discuss what kind of things separate us. But in general, we should have a uniting worldview, not in the terms of compromising your worldview to unify things. For example, I just want to chill with